Dungeons and Dragons. We've got the dragons. What about the dungeon? And in this vlog, I'm going to share with you a formula, a build paradigm that I use when I'm building a dungeon. And this could be something that just kind of quickly you need in the moment. You're in between sessions or the players need a little bit more XP. So you want to put together something for next week, a side quest, or it could be part of a bigger layout putting and leading to a bigger type of campaign. But I find this framework allows not only the opportunity to really think about the impact of a dungeon in the game, but also allows your imagination to really develop out the primary key areas. We're not just trying to develop another hole in the ground. We're trying to create something that has both character to it and flavor, but also conveys the sense of this is Dungeons and Dragons. This is a dangerous place to be. And necessity, whatever that necessity is, fame, fortune, a quest, requires that you go in and solve it. So the first place I start is with the structure itself, its original intention. And I'm going to use an example from a recent game. Imagine that there was a mine at the top of a mountain. Dwarves are up there, mining, doing what they have to do. And in order to control the water levels and flooding, prevent flooding in the mine and bring in fresh air, they created this kind of pumping station a ways away because the mine kind of spread out. So you've got this structure, kind of a small castle above ground. I mean, they're not quite happy about that, but they've got to vent and pump stuff somewhere. And underneath, various pipes and reservoirs and corridors and equipment to work with the mine. Well, the mine collapsed, fell into disrepair, and now you have this structure that was abandoned. So I start with the initial structure of the dungeon. What was it built for? What was its purpose? Now, it might very well be a dungeon under a castle. Another example would be just kind of creating a small castle keep, just kind of your standard castle, create a dungeon underneath, and then have something happen. I had a wizard's experiment explode, destroy the entire castle, fell into disrepair, and underneath, a couple of 100 years later, you've got a dungeon. So it could be a literal dungeon, or it could be some sort of structure that has been created with an intention, and something happened. So now it's been abandoned, something happened, we age it. So I age it a little bit. I look and say, if we advance the timeline 100 years or so, before any monsters move in, I mean, they might be moving in, but are there areas that are going to collapse or decay or rust or fall into such disrepair or perhaps flood themselves? Age it. Advance it by 100 years or so. The next step now, of course, populate it with monsters. And I try to hit this at a variety of levels, of course, paying attention to challenge rating, or if it's advanced Dungeons and Dragons, looking at this idea of what would be in place. Now, fitting into your campaign or fitting into the area, what kind of monsters would populate this dungeon? If it's near a tradeway or a road, it might be raiders. If it's something really far out, it might be more kind of animal-based monsters or natural monsters. Would there be kind of a collection of monsters on one level, but more powerful monsters move in on a second level and utilize the first level either for raiding or just to kind of keep things in check with that first group of monsters? Really playing things out. Now, on a side note, this is a vlog to continue. We all have so many different monsters in D&D. The monster manual, the various supplements, all monsters are good. We have our favorite monsters we like to play, but I'd like to try and pull out, if I'm stocking a dungeon, one or two monsters that maybe aren't used as much. You know, a chance as a dungeon master myself to kind of excel and see what we can do with some role play. But also some monsters that the players haven't encountered before. My players haven't encountered. When they encounter monsters, usually what I do, I don't say, look, there's 3 orcs here. Well, I might say there's 3 orcs because everyone knows an orc. But I'm not going to tell you what the name of the monster is. I'm going to kind of explain it. The challenge is if you've been playing D&D for a while and fought your way through kind of the standard stat block monsters, halfway into explaining it, you're like, okay, I know what that monster is. Armor class, hit points, treasure type, special abilities, uses per day, percentage of treasure and lair. Like you kind of know all that. So I try to pull out some stuff that isn't well known and has some kind of unique abilities. So we stock the dungeon. We throw everything in the dungeon. Now we've got a dungeon proper. We've got a whole kind of little environment, running that test environment, doing what they got to do, interacting with the game. Now we need some adventurers. What's the reason to get them there? Why are they there? This could be something like the local population knows about this dungeon and they use it to make money because it's primarily self-contained. It's far away enough from the farms, but it's kind of near the main road where the inn is. So they keep on making up these various treasure maps and sell them to adventurers that happen to be walking by. You know, this is the only treasure map. This is the only map in existence. Meanwhile, there's like a pocket full of 30, only 10 gold each. So it might be something like that. Or it might be something like the monsters are starting to branch out and now attacking caravans or interacting. Another example would be like if we go back to this pumping station type aspect, maybe it's fell into disrepair. One of the ways that I played it was it fell into disrepair and now the water was kind of spreading out underground and interfering with crops and sinking roads and kind of really messing with the area. And the local Wizards Council needed the players to go in. Look, I'm giving you a box. Don't open the box. Don't open the box until it's ready. It's very unstable. Immediately the rogue is like, as soon as we're out of sight, we're opening the box. Within this box is a magical charge that is going to obliterate everything. So this idea of they have to take the package in there, drop it off, explode everything, that'll kind of collapse it, take care of everything, or clean out the monsters. A reason. What is the reason that they're going in there? That kind of template. And again, it could be something simple that you could write in an evening and kind of scratch out and have for your next adventure. Fritz, we're only 150 experience points away from the next level. You can't do that. You can't end the night, lock the door. He's not leaving. So, okay, what, you want to fight like a bunch of orcs? Like, no, okay, I got a little side dungeon. I'm ready to go. You know, jump in. We could run this in an hour. So you can create it really small, a couple of rooms, but it has character. It has flavor. It has bite. Or this can be part of a much, much larger complex and situation. What's the original function? Age it by 100 years and have it fall into disrepair. Move in the monsters and give the players a reason to encounter it.